We're heading up to the Bluestone Mill ruins. It's the oldest part of Mason. Actually, Mason probably started up by the mines and the mills that are found up in the Singatse Mountain Range. Just on the other side of the range is Hudson. You have Ludwig, Wilson Canyon, other ghost towns, and just down the road from here where we're at is Nordyke, Wabuska, and those were all little towns, and Thompson Smelter is actually over those hills. Those were all little copper mining towns along the Copper Belt Railroad. And I've done almost every ghost town along the Copper Belt Railroad because we're doing a history project. It's a very scenic, high desert here. A lot of history, a lot of big mines, foundations, glass bottles out here. A lot of stuff is preserved because we are in the middle of nowhere. What we're going to do is we're going to head up into the Singatse Mountain Range at about an elevation of 5,000 to 6,000 feet. We're going to be above Mason and Yerington. See, that's the tanks at Yerington. These are fascinating ghost towns. Some of these ghost towns had maybe 100 people. Some of them had as much as 10,000 people. They all varied in size. A couple of them had smelters. We're gonna see if we can get down. Yeah, see the town sites right there below. Now we gotta turn around and see if we can find a road that goes below or on the other side, because this one dead ends. You can't count on maps anymore. Maps are always changing. There's a lot of quad trails, off-roading trails, and this one leads to a dead end, but we have to go behind the water tanks and head west and then south into town. But you get the idea. The mines, the mining camps, the mills were all up in these mountains, and then you had a lot of the ranches downtown below. That way, the men could work here, and men could ranch in Mason, live in Mason, take their wagon trail. Look, this is an old movie theater right here, out of operation. You take a wagon, horse and wagon, go up in the mountains, work at the mines, stay in a tent camp for a couple days, you know. It's the nicest trial and error when it comes to ghost towns. You just got to take various dirt roads and hope for results. Because when you look at a map and you see 20 different platted streets, you start to realize that some of these streets dead end, or they've gotten over the years too far rugged and washed out to drive on. And so we know we got to go southwest of the water tanks, which means we can either take one of the 2-3 roads to the right. There's a paved road up here, and then it cuts down to the left, south to dirt road, so we could try that as well. Actually, as a matter of fact, this road here would be good, but we'll have to still turn off at dirt roads up ahead. So we're taking the road less traveled, and we're going to the settlement of Mason. And we're going to focus on the Bluestone Mill ruins. And after we're done with the Bluestone Mill ruins, we'll check out the Mason Valley Mine. There's also the Bluestone Mine, which a lot of current mining has kind of absorbed this place. Let's see if we can take this road here. Like I said, we don't want to go into the mine or those mountains. We kind of want to head west and then south. It's trial and error. The Copper Belt Railroad ran in the earlier 1900s, and they had 2 railroads out here, but the Copper Railroad was a little bit of a short line. Whoa, look at the brush growing in the middle of the dirt road. Private property, no trespassing. It's okay. They have a trail They say you can either off-road it or hike. Mining operations. However, like I say, the Bluestone Mine is up in here, and I believe that the giant strip mine has kind of bought it out, or at least the property, and so that mine's not as accessible. However, the ghost town, or the old ruins from the 1800s are. But as I was saying, there was 2 railroads that ran out here, and all those that work, they can't calculate dirt roads on that GPS. These are no names. But the copper belt ran in a loop to all these little ghost towns, and that's what we've been working on our project. On our project, we've been working on covering all these little boom towns. They were copper towns, and they would mill and smelter mine the copper and basically ship it out on the copper railroad, and the ranchers in Yerington and Nordyke and Wabuska could do the same thing, and then it could be eventually exported on the main railroad line up in Fallon, where Fallon had a pretty good railroading. It was a railroading town to begin with. The railroad passed right through. Not all railroading. I mean, they did mining and they did a quarter. Well, I can take the road up here. There's other roads we can try taking. But these towns were on the railroad, and then it would connect into a major line, like the Transcontinental Railroad. Just like you could take the railroad spur that ran up to Ludwig and get out on the main line too, the Virginia Truckee Railroad, and that would connect with the main railroad up to Bodie, or you could take it up to Reno or Virginia City. The ghost town's to the right. Of course, we're blocked again with more mines. We gotta try to take a dirt road to work around them. It's pretty desolate out here. A few cottonwood trees. A lot of mining operations today, and ranching. A lot of cattle grazing, but that's all you're gonna see out here. But tucked away in these mountains and these valleys is a lot of history, and that's where I come into play, to preserve the history, to explore these places for not just the paranormal, but remnants of the past, pieces of the past, so we can educate people. But I gotta drive. I'm out of here. I gotta search for my route to the right, to the west. It's gonna be hard to find this place. Once again, trial by error. But I will find a way out here. I kind of marked it on my GPS in case I got a hike, I can get an idea. But I know that it's nestled in the Singatse Range. I mean, if you look, there's something way out there. Oh yeah, there's a road that goes probably out there. Old water tank. You know what, folks? I was at the wrong water tank. Here's a couple more water tanks. They're everywhere in these small towns. And basically, when you look at a map from above and say, oh, the ghost town is over near the water tanks, well, that's true if you have the right ones. But since there's 3 towns that border one another and they all have water tanks near the side of the road, I had to find the right ones. These are the right ones. And basically, we'll be heading west into the range, and then eventually south to the ghost town, or the Bluestone Mill ruins. And they called it the Bluestone. They called everything Bluestone up here. Like, oh, you're going to mine over some bluestone, because copper mining kind of looks blue, and they have other minerals that are bluish white out here. But this area is littered with bluestone. It's that bluestone that led to some of these, like Thompson, who ran Thompson Smelter, to being wealthy businessmen, investing in these local copper towns and expanding their smelter. And World War I, a lot of these copper mills and mines closed down. Oh yeah, see, we're gonna go up over the mountain here into the ghost town. Ghost town's to the left, snuggled in there. We can always hike out there, so I'm really not too worried about it. There's multiple roads you can take. They say 4-wheel, but these roads look good enough to bring a car down, as long as you're careful. I think I see it out there, the ghost town. I think I see something out there. Just need to find a road out this way to go. Oh yeah, I see it right there. See if everybody can spot the ghost town. I got a super zoom on this. That's it. That's Bluestone. And keep in mind, folks, I'm going to have to off-road down here to get to the town. There's a lot of washes and dirt roads. It's kind of like a maze. You just kind of find your way to the ghost town. Surprisingly, there's snow all along the Sears and the Pine Nuts, because the Pine Nuts are just past this range, and the snow and the powder is so thick. But back here, there's no snow. We're in the middle of December. There should be snow, but there isn't. Well, like I say, the roads aren't too bad. The soft sand, there's no big sharp rocks. It's not bad. You could bring a car if you had to. With snow on this, I'm sure the road would be a lot worse. Because my buddy said, oh, there's a foot of snow. There's no snow where I'm going. It's because I'm on the other side of the mountain, so the other side kind of caught the snow and not this side. But as long as I can see, that building's part of the ruins, and as long as I can see it, we'll take a better main road. Oh man. Like I say, it's probably 1,000 feet above the town of Yerington and Mason. But back then, they centralized the town around these mills and mining sites. Started off as tent camps, then there was buildings and general stores and saloons. When these towns died out, eventually everyone settled in the ranch land and converted, instead of mining, to ranching. So there's a lot of history back here. You just gotta look, you gotta hike around and uncover it. But at least I could say, you know what, I'm not lost. I know where I'm going. I see the ghost town off in the distance, and it might be, 2-3 miles away, but it's cool to drive on in and to be able to see it. And plus, I could, on the way in, sit here and look and see if I find any remnants of the past, foundations, bottles. We're gonna do some target practicing today, some metal detecting for fun. We don't keep anything of that, nothing of value. We just like to find old spoons and things like that to kind of see like what was here. If you find nails, or may have been like a cabin or of the sorts. We get out and take a couple photos just to show you what the area is like. We're almost to the ghost town. The mill's built up where you see that building behind it, and to the left there's a debris pile. The debris pile goes to the mine, so I know where we're at. That's the debris pile for the Mason Valley Mine. And behind that debris pile is a very large mine. And you can see mining's been done extensively. It's pit mining now. There's no more shaft mining going on in the region. But below is the town of Mason. That's all Mason. And we're heading up to where Mason began, which is up in this canyon coming up. Right up in here is the old ghost town. Okay, so I had gotten out. Just wanted to show you. Ghost town's all up in that valley and canyon. Just on the other side of the hills is the ghost town of Ludwig. As many as 10,000 people live there, including some famous people, some well-known residents. But that place had it all. Swimming pools, ice cream parlor, cafes, sports lounge, everything it had. Giant plaza, it's all gone. There's maybe 5% left of the town. Same thing here. All these towns, maybe 5-10% remain, but they were important. They were on the Copper Belt Railroad, which ran, didn't run for very long. On and off, probably for about 10 to 15 years, it was solid, and bam, they started tearing up tracks around here, and these towns began to move out and leave. People began to leave, and they began to die, and what you got is what you got. You got 6-7 ghost towns around these mountains, and you can hit each one and This is one of our final last ones, so I'm happy to be here. We're going to get on the road December 2015. I'm all ready to go as Santa Claus. I'm Santa Claus. It's a little comedy gig we do. Next year, I swear to God, next year, I am buying myself a beard that goes to my knees. Well, not to my knees. I was looking into investing in a new beard. This getup's nice for the last few years, but next year, I'm going to come back when we do our exploration at Christmas, and I'm going to have the whole Santa Claus get-up beard. Might even have the white eyebrows. We could get real creepy. But no, seriously, they have better beards. I found a beard yesterday that goes down to your belly almost. I need one of those since I'm in the mountains. You know, Santa and the mountains go together. Santa's really a hillbilly. And he's like me. You gotta grow a beard if you live in these mountains. Keeps you warm. You think about it, though. Just a bunch of hillbillies riding in the hills right now. Not the hillbillies where I'm, you know, washing my clothes in the tub and shit. Or got some decked out grill made with a grate from my radiator, but, you know. Oh yeah, I'm starting to see the mill ruins right now. I'm glad we found this place, because I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. I didn't really have much to go off of. Even when I marked it on my GPS, it's an old GPS, so it doesn't take coordinates very well. I had to just get a general area and be like, yep, it's somewhere there. That way, if I hiked out to it, I could stand on one of these hills and look towards that direction and see if I could see the ruins. But I see the ruins, the first building from the road, and then when you make your way down deeper into this area, it says danger, use of mine. You can start to see other buildings. Now, some people say you need four-wheel drive back here. Don't believe it, man. I just had tires put on this. I have to keep up. I got to buy tires all the time because we're always getting flats and going through them. The road's a little sandy here, but still, again, if you got a nice solid two-wheel drive vehicle or a Subaru or whatever, yeah, you come back here. You can see the mill ruins. Let's see if I zoom in. Bluestone will be up here. That's the mine debris pile. So you're going to have the mill near the debris pile. We'll get into tram systems and how they quartered the ore out of the mines later. I have a whole history that I wrote up and jotted down about this place. That way you can get an extensive view of how it operated, what it used to be like. Because this is mainly right here where we're at is all the mill ruins. This is Old Mason. Private property. Down that road's private. Heavy equipment. Yeah, see, they're doing mining. But we could park at the ghost town. And what we could do is we hike our way in the rest of the way if we have to. I'm going to follow the debris pile up here because I do want to visit the Mason Valley mines. Some mines go for 10, 20, 30 miles. So you have to be really careful with certain ghost towns, certain mines. You got to mark your territory. You can have batteries, but you also got to have crank lights. There were signs back there. I see the mill ruins now. They built the mill below the dump pile or debris pile. That way they could mine the copper, haul out the ore to the mill, process it. A lot of times, this was a concentration plant, which I've never been to in the Wild West, but this is a concentration plant. And then they could actually ship it on the Copper Belt Railroad after processing some of it, some of the ore, and bring it up to Thompson Smelter a few miles away to be smelted. And here you can start to see a shape of the ghost town. There's a building on the back. There's a couple foundations around the nut pile. And then on the opposite side, if you follow the mill around, you can visit this really nice mine. It goes for miles. We won't have all day because we got another ghost town, but I will spend about an hour in the mines. Ghost hunting, taking readings, exploring, doing what we do best. Bluestone Mill. A lot of buildings, very extensive. And then of course if you look here, There's a foundation, another building. Not much remains, but what little remains we have to preserve. We could shoot here, or we could shoot at the next place in the woods, because we are going to the woods today.
Yeah.
So it's really up to you. I would say we probably should go to the... Oh, look at that mine, dude. That's underneath.
Whoa. Yeah.
I got a couple mines we can go in today.
It's gonna be awesome.
It is. Ladies and gentlemen, I just spotted under the debris pile or dump pile a mine. Now I know there's a mine at the far end, and maybe these two tunnels connect. It's probably still the Mason Valley mine, but this is, I didn't know there was another entrance. Check this out. Wow. That is a nice size entrance. Well, look at the dump pile. A lot of buildings up there. Also a lot of dust. Oh yeah. It's pretty extensive. And again, they don't call it the Bluestone Mill Ruins for nothing.
I see those green rocks too. Is that like... Oh, wait. Let me see. I'm gonna take one of these rocks.
Welcome to the Bluestone Mill Ruins. This place is extensive. A lot of buildings. A lot of buildings to explore. This mine, there's mines in the dump pile. This is the dump pile or ridge line, and the mines go deep down, and the mines go deep down underneath, and there's another huge entrance on the other end. So we'll see if they connect, or I'll just explore both mines or both the tunnels.